All right, so the next thing we have to do is to calculate the number of products that are out of stock. So for us to actually get an actual number, I added a new product and I set the quantity to 0. So at least we know that this product is not available, so it should be out of stock. So we're going to come to our code editor and quickly go to our product slice, and we're going to create another action. So but before I even create the action, so let me show you where we stopped. Yeah, so this is where we stopped, where we calculated the stop value. So here I'm just going to come here and let me see. Aha. So I'll come here and then I'll create another action. I'll call that action calculate out of stock. So calc underscore, and then I'll just say out of stock. Okay, just open that like that, and it's going to have a state and an action. Then we're going to open it here. All right, so now as far as this one goes, we are going to do some things that are very similar to what we did here. So like getting the products, creating this array, mapping through this array and doing something. So save some time, I'll just copy this guy and then we'll just continue from there. So here, let me tap this and paste that in. So the first thing is we need to get the products, all the array of products coming from our action.payload. Then we create an empty array. Now we're going to map through the products, and so let me get rid of this middle guy here. What I want to destructure is the quantity. So you know it's the quantity we're interested in. If a quantity of a product is 0, it means that product is out of stock. So here I'm destructuring the quantity and then I'm pushing it inside this my array. So here, instead of saying product value, we're just going to push the quantity inside that empty array. So we've created a new array that only contains the quantity. All right, great. So now I'll come outside of this array here and I'm going to use the for each. So I'll say array dot for each. Aha. And I'm just going to represent the quantity as a number because technically it's a number. And then let's just open that. Now I'll have an if statement here. So what I want is any quantity that is equal to 0, I would do something. So first off, I'll come just above the array and I'll create a variable. I'll say let count be equal to 0. All right. Then inside of this array here, I'll say that any number that is equal to 0, then I want to increase the count by 1. So here I'll just say count plus equals 1. Okay, so for every product that has a quantity of 0, this count will increase. That's what we just did here. So next, we're just going to come outside here and then we'll just say state dot out of stock, and that's going to be equal to our count. All right, so now let's just go down and export the out of stock. And I think while I'm here, I would also export the category. So this is the first total stock value. So here I'll just say select out of stock, and that's going to be equal to out of stock. So while I'm here, let me just export the last one, which is select category, and then I'm also going to point it to category. Aha. So now let's go ahead and save, and then I'll head over to my front end, which is my product summary. And then in the product summary, I'm going to bring in those things that I need. So first off, let's come up here and then let's import the function to calculate out of stock. Calculate. Oh, okay, I did not export the action. Sorry about that. So here I need to also export that action. So here I'll say calculate and then out of stock. Go ahead and save that, and now we should be able to import it. So calculate out. Aha, so you see, so then also I'm going to import the select out of stock. So those are the two things we need. All right, so now let's come down here and dispatch the function, but before then we need to create the variable that will hold it. So let me duplicate this one, and then I'll just change this to out of stock, and that's going to point to select out of stock. All right, so now I'll come to my use effect here, and then I'll just dispatch the out of stock. So here I'll say calculate, not store value, but out of stock, and then I'll send the product as well. So what we will now do last is that we'll just come here to the third out of stock here. So instead of saying this 0 here, I'll just reference my out of stock variable that I've created here, and that should be it. So let's go ahead and save, compiling, and then we'll just see if there's any change. So technically this should be 1 because we have one product that will set the quantity to 0, and for some reason it's still 0, so I may just need to check it one more time. Let me refresh the page just to be sure. So I think I know what's wrong here, but just to be sure that we are currently linked, that's our state, the out of stock state, I'm going to go to my product slides, and then I'll just change this initial state from 0 to 5. Then I'll save that just to see if it will change here at least. Okay, so let me refresh that one more time. So you see we first had 5, then it now changed to 0. So that means that this out of stock state is properly linked. So I'll change it back to 0, and I think I know what the problem is. It's the data type. So if you come here, you see that we are looking for the number that is triple equals to 0. Whenever you use triple equals to, it means that you are comparing the data and the type. So the value here needs to have not just 0, but needs to be a number. So what I'll do is just to quickly solve this, I'll just say or, and then I'll copy this statement here and then just slot it here, but this time I'll surround the 0 with a quote. So even if it's a text that has 0 or a number, then I still want you to increase the count. So if I save that, I should be able to get the actual out of stock product here, which should be 1. So let's do that quickly. Aha, so you see we now have this listed as 1. So it doesn't matter whether the data type is set to number or letter, this will always be 1. So in the next video, we're now going to see how we're going to find out the number of categories we have in our store and then display it here. All right, see you in the next one.